Welcome back to Decoding the Bible. I have no idea what episode we're on, like 6 maybe. And I had a great question from someone out in Washington State. Christina, why do people really want to decode the Bible? Don't we just want to understand it and teach what we've always taught? And people can do whatever they want, but the importance right now of decoding the Bible is, in my experience, how it served me, is while people are waking up and understanding that it's not just life on Earth. It's not just humanity exploring creation. I mean, we all have heard of ETs and aliens and yada, yada, yada. That has a lot of value because that's part of creation, which means what? Which means it's part of God or all that is. Now, there's a lot of ways to talk about this and interpret this, and we can talk about all of them. I'm happy to do that. But for me, the reason it's important, from what I've learned, to demystify the Bible is a lot of people still are afraid of getting life wrong. That's not the point of the Bible. The point of the Bible is almost a miracle document to say you can't get it wrong. That there are forces set up in all of creation, in eternity, eternally, to make sure that your experience of consciousness in a physical body is backed up and supported. Now, we've all been subjected to kind of an amnesia, kind of a falling asleep. Sorry, I've got boots on and I'm really hot. It was cold, now I'm hot. And to lift the veil on all of that and decode all of that for everyone is really important to me, because it's sort of like you don't want to send your kids to school and have them get taught that they're stupid. Really? I mean, would you want to do that? Go to school and let the teacher tell you you're dumb. So since the Bible is a teaching tool, it's very helpful to use it in such a way that empowers you rather than discourages you or judges you or freaks you out. So that's one of my missions, one of my points. Once I decoded the Bible, the first thing I realized was it's really funny. There are parts of it that are absolutely gut-splitting hilarious. Though some people who take it very seriously wouldn't agree with me on that, but it's really funny. The second thing I noticed is it's written in a code that really withstands the test of time, or withstood the test of time, because now we're at the what they call end times. And what's the point of an end time? The point of an end time is to show that time is eternal, that it's all an eternal now. So we're at this point in human recorded history where enough human beings are alive at the same time, simultaneously, on Earth, that are awake, that are having visions, that are waking up, that have been abducted by aliens, that are able to communicate with higher intelligences that exist simultaneously on other planes of reality. And then there's the fact that we're still standing on the planet. So that alone, just knowing that and noticing that and reading about that, whether you buy into it or not is up to you, but just being aware of that is an example to you. It's like TV. It's holographic. There's constant communication, emanations. What do I mean by emanations? People could be standing in a studio performing a television show, but if no one turns on the camera and uploads that to a system that sends it out to somebody else, it's just a very contained experience for the people involved, right? But once you upload your videos to the internet or your stuff to social media and you put it out into the ethers, then other people can watch it and learn from it and enjoy it and interact with it even. We have all kinds of live stuff now. So the Bible also is one of those tools. It just happens to be in a book form instead of in a video form or a television show form. But it's the same thing. It's a multifaceted performance art piece of the oneness of creation communicating to itself using the tools at those levels of time that were available. So, John the Divine writing down Revelation, St. Paul, Jesus walking around. Jesus used words, he talked, he sat in communities and spoke to people in the congregation. You didn't have an iPhone, right? So all these are just communication tools leaving a trail so that what? So that going forward, you don't fall asleep. So that in your next lifetime or your next day, you have touchstones to keep you awake. Have you ever noticed you go to bed and you wake up and you so forgot everything you just learned yesterday? It's almost like it's wiped from your memory. It's like amnesia. So we leave records for ourselves to pick up where we left off so that we don't get lost or distracted by other people's belief systems or ideas of what reality is. And we create, not just for ourselves, but for each other, we create toolkits to try to leave assistances, school tools for each other so that we don't fall asleep. Why would we do that? Because we're a family. We're all from one thing. We're all connected. And when you're on Earth in the 3D, it's really easy to get overly distracted just by going to the grocery store or turning on the radio and sort of fly down a rabbit hole. So in today's video, what I really want to talk about is a lot of things, because I love to talk about a lot of things in the Bible. But to keep it simple for now, hang on, let's look. I gotta look at something in my brain. Hold on. Language, I want to talk about this. Language is a communication device. It's a tool. But so is touch. So is light. And you know that from your phone. I mean, it's sending you light waves to your eyeballs that you interpret based on your definitions of whatever you're viewing, whether it's a photograph or words on a page. So light carries code. Now, when you look at stay with me. When you look at a book, it still requires light for you to be able to look at that book. And there are volumes about what's called fire language or I writings, E-Y-E-I writings, which is a way of describing how a consciousness, the one, in its mind sends out thoughts, which a thought is a vibration. A thought has momentum. It has power. It's once you create a thought, you've created something, right? And so it has an effect. It has a path. It goes and it comes back. So just the thoughts themselves, before they're written down, before they're seen, before they're recorded or said, just the thoughts themselves have energy. That energy being transmitted out just in your own mind creates a waveform in creation. You create waveforms with thoughts. Now, it's kind of obvious when you know what an EEG is. You hook up a brain and it can measure the electromagnetic pulsations of the mind. So that alone shows you that there are communications in consciousness. That's what we're doing here. What does the Bible have to do with that? Well, since it's all one entity, one thing, we call it God, looking at itself, playing with itself, it's such a massively complex but very simple basis of which we're all a part, then you start to, excuse me, be able to better understand some of what Jesus was, through his words, doing his best to communicate to people. But what he was talking about is a non-physical, a visceral, emotional, experiential level of existence. What do I mean by that? He talks about love. You can't see love, but you can feel it. And you can give it, and you can receive it. He talks about light. You can't really contain light, so to speak, but you can be it. You can emanate it, and you can perceive it. You can know it. You know that it exists based on your experience of it, whether it's the warmth of the sun or your ability to read a book. And it takes light to be able to do that. He talks about his disciples, which he sends out like sheep among wolves. He's talking about his words. His words are living. He's very well aware that his teachings have reach. He sends them out into the darkness, and that darkness meaning like not everybody's ready for the light. He's very aware that they're going to face challenges. You're a spark of light facing challenges out in the darkness, but you're an emanation of that one. So we start, my goal in this video is to show you that there's not just the physical storyline that we can read in the Bible. There's a higher plane of shooting out the light into the darkness, and the light comes back. He always says, my words will not return unto me void. He's well aware that what he sends out, he gets back. And in the process of that, those seeds, he talks about the seed is the word of God, that some land on stony ground, whatever, some land on good soil, that he knows that some of the living force that he puts out, the mirrors of himself, are going to make it, and some aren't. That's us. Why is it possible that we might trip up? Because we have free will. And along that trajectory back to home, we hear, perceive, notice other emanations coming at us from different perspectives that if we buy into them, they might really slow us down. They might really trip you up. You might get scared. Maybe you learned it from your parents. Maybe you learned it from television. Maybe you learned it on the internet. But it might not be in resonance. It might not be on the same higher frequency as God's unconditional love. And I don't mean God's as in a human being. I mean like creation's original light source. Look at a Pink Floyd album. The one white light that bursts into a rainbow. So we all emit from that, or emitted from that and connected to that, and are waking up to, we also, because we are emanated from the one, contain the power to send out our own. So it becomes this ripple effect, this like monster, universal sized light family. What's cool about that? What's the point? Why would we care? Why would we want to be embodied and do this? This is awesome. Many reasons, but for Earth purposes, one of the cool things about being on Earth is thought is faster than light. So it's really fun to sit, be, and communicate with another person, or a dog or a cat or a flower. Think about a flower coming out from a seed. It's a very slow process. It happens very gently. There's no force. There's no pulling and tugging and beating up and smashing or hurting. It's an allowing. Getting to witness creation in action is just phenomenal. It's amazing. Why do you think women are obsessed with ultrasounds when they're pregnant? I mean, the whole process of living existence itself is, you just can't beat it. It's amazing. So rather than just get caught up in the idea, the invisible idea of existence, witnessing it unfolding right before your very eyes and getting to spend time with it, nurture it, interact with it, talk about it, sit with it, sit in a rainstorm and witness it is a huge gift. It's a huge gift. You could be floating out in space just staring at stars all by yourself, or if you want to, you could be on Earth watching the stars and having a friend and a meal and some time together, rather than like split second thought, done. It's a slowed down thing intended for many reasons, but one of them, which is so beautiful and why the Bible is such a beautiful book to teach this, is it's intended to give you a place, the kingdom of heaven on earth, to really enjoy and have a safe environment to appreciate all sorts of aspects of creation, whether it's a whale, a dolphin, a dog, a cat. But because you're part of the one, you are being carried in your own little beast, and you are capable and able to create and also appreciate creation. What does it do? Oh, it's so beautiful. It spreads more love. Your recognition of love spreads more love where you are, and it reaches out and it grows and it grows and it grows. So when Jesus is talking about my kingdom is not of this earth, it's because he came from the center, like the one, and it's almost like he visits all the planets, right? But he is an example of how do you be living love light. God is love, right? And he also says, I am the light of the world. So how do you be living love light in a physical body on earth? Well, he came and he made a demonstration of that. But he also makes it very clear where he's from, where he originates from, is a star level. That's where we got the Star of David. It's the light hitting the earth, the self-awareness, the recognition of how to do that, but yet you're still one with the stars. You know, his face lighting up, excuse me, when he speaks to Moses and Elijah is a reflection to humanity that your physical body, your cells, know that they are more than we give them credit for. It's how we get miracles, but you kind of got to get it out of the way. So the Bible is a record of some of the steps that have been taken to leave a record for humans who fall asleep every day, right? Of how that works and how it's an undeniable proof of the earth's connection to this higher plane. Not just through Jesus' life, by the way, but through all the lives contained within the Bible. From Genesis to Revelation. And not just the people in the Bible, but the language of the Bible and the words of the Bible. And the scroll design of the Bible is like it's like a flagpole, really, because there's only one moment in time. So you have a pillar, like a flagpole, of light on top of the flag. All flagpoles in America, at least, have a gold orb, a sun, as a symbol. And the people who made it didn't even know what they were doing, just like the people who wrote each book of the Bible had no idea how it was going to come together, right? But it's a symbol of the one light, emanating every moment. And that light is conscious of itself. And those stars and the stripes and the white, the blood and the water, emanating out of the one, the many. Makes sense? The flagpole is such an easy thing for us. It's like, Oh my gosh. So you got the flagpole, you got the sun, and you got the stars and the stripes emanating out of the one, which is to show the projection, the expanse of the one star that created out of itself all the other stars, and we're connected through the blood and the water, DNA. So yeah, I guess I've gone from like Bible to flagpole. Welcome to America. God shed his grace on thee, that's for sure. So there's humans that really want this all to be conspiracy theory or something. It's the design of the universe, and since you can't create anything except by creating out of the one, it's always going to reflect these miraculous conspiracy like symbols and stories back to you, because it's just one thing communicating to itself. So even you can't screw it up, because you're only able to play with the same clay that it is. You can doubt it, but you're always going to end up getting brought back to what I would call home base. All right, that was a little all over the place, but really fun for me. And America, oh yeah, another cool thing about America is the eagle. There's a lot of eagles in the Bible, Chaldeans and all this stuff. And we have my favorite, the eagle of America, carrying the olive branch, the branch of peace. Now, how would that get connected to the Bible, and what would that matter? Well, we've got the olive branch with Noah. We've got the two olive trees in Revelation, mirrors of each other, standing before the throne of God. You've got the eagle who carries the woman. But a woman is a female. I've said this before. Fe, iron, male. It's the bloodline. Carrying the bloodline to the wilderness. And the wilderness, biblically speaking, in the mirror of Egypt and America, is America. How would that work? Well, you look at Egypt's concepts of the eye of God. There's always mirrors. There's always two sphinxes and whatever. And what that's trying to show you is that there's a physical, visible emanation of that, and there's the original idea. People think they're going to be two physical ones. There's not. There's an unseen. Kingdom of heaven is within you. And then there's the projection of that. So you have the seen and the unseen. The church has a whole prayer about that. Yeah, see, holograms. Talk about holograms. My brain goes boing, 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 boing. That's what's challenging about talking about holograms. Because you see holographically. The eagle. Okay, so there's eagles. So in Egypt, you have the two wings. You always see the woman with the sun disk in the middle, and then there's two wings. It's meant to show the female is the carrier of the bloodline. That's how kids come through. Female, Fe, iron, male, DNA, eternal life. See, it's all very obvious when you think about it. So those wings are the carriers of the light, of the DNA. The whole idea of an eagle is, or a bird, is carrying, is moving through time and space. It's just a reflection, so that people who wake up don't go back to sleep. Right. So for now, I'm going to stop, because that's a lot to digest, and we'll come back again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, tell your friends. Visit our shop on Finnegan Note for some fun cosmic clothes. I've noticed that people have been copying our stuff, so I guess I gotta make new clothes. So disappointing when people can't make up their own stuff. But hey, whatever. That's fine. We'll make new stuff. I love you very much. Stay peaceful. Enjoy your day. Get out there under the stars and just like chill and enjoy it. And when you go to the Bible, know that you'll get answers, because there's plenty of them to be had. Don't get overwhelmed in trying to decode it, because it'll trip you up if you're not careful. Not so much careful, but it'll trip you up if you're trying too hard to decode it. It'll decode itself for you as you need to know it. because that's a gentle way of teaching. Your job is to be happy and love your existence and love everyone around you as best you can. And if you can't, then just love yourself. All right. See you next time. It's Christina from I Am That I Am Publishing and Christina on Squarespace. See you soon.